There are certain things in life which are inevitable, and computers getting slower definitely is one of them. I've been running my own IT business now for the last 25 plus years, helping business and private clients with all manner of computer-related issues, including slow-running computers. In this video, I'm going to take you through what I consider to be the 15 most effective, quickest and easiest steps that you can take to improve the speed of your PC or laptop. If the video goes a little bit too fast, I apologize, there's a lot to get through, so please feel free to pause it and rewind, replay as necessary so you don't miss any content. So, on to the rest of the video. Hope it gives you good results. Step 1. Check for dust buildup. Check to make sure that your PC or laptop is clean and free from dust. Dust is very hard to avoid with computers, and when it builds up, your computer is going to run hotter, and eventually it might start throttling itself to reduce performance and protect itself against the potential for damage. This is more common than you might think, especially on laptops that always seem to struggle for cooling, particularly if they are run a lot and run hard, like for gaming, for example. If you've got a desktop PC, check all the vents, front, side, top, particularly the rear, which is often coated with dust in a serious dust situation, obviously not good. Check on the laptop as well, check on the underside. Sometimes you can see dust if you shine a torch into the underside intake vent. And also check the exhaust vent on your laptop. Before you're going to start removing any dust on the inside of either device, ground yourself with an anti-static strap, which you can get off Amazon for peanuts, $10, maybe $15, something like that. Or you can ground yourself on a nearby metallic object, like a radiator is a good idea. If there's any static buildup in your body, when you touch something metallic like that, you'll see a little click or a spark as the static is discharged. Static is bad for the internal components of computers, so you want to avoid that if you can. In fact, you need to definitely avoid it. So for the inside of your PC, turn it off, disconnect all cables, put it somewhere like on a table with a soft cloth underneath to protect the table, and take off the left access panel, which is the one on the left as you look at the computer front on. Have a look inside, see what you can find. If there's a lot of dust, use a long, thin, nozzled attachment for your Hoover again, really carefully to remove as much dust as you can. You could also try just checking the fans, make sure the fans are all rotating freely. So obviously everything's off, so you're safe, but just pop your finger on a fan and just flick it and just see if it rotates freely. If it rotates freely, great. If it doesn't, if it's sticky, then that fan may need to be replaced. That could be the result of a lot of heat buildup in the machine if it's not being able to cool properly. With regards to the laptop, a little bit more tricky, but you can buy these compressed air cans off Amazon. Again, they don't cost much. They come with a nice long thin nozzle, and you can direct that into the underside of the laptop, into the intake vent to blow air through and out the exhaust vent. Before you do that though, get a paper clip, straighten it, poke it through the hole into the intake vent to stop the fan from moving when you blow air in with the compressed air. That'll protect the fan and also allow it to clean a bit more easily. This isn't often enough for a laptop, so there is a good chance that you may need to actually take the laptop apart. If you're not happy with that sort of work, definitely take it to a local repair shop and they'll give it a good clean for you. It's not a big job, but probably best and safest to have it done by somebody who knows what they're doing, or at least has done it before. Another issue with overheating computers, both desktops and laptops, is the possibility of dried out thermal paste. Thermal paste is applied to the surface of a CPU and allows heat to be transferred from the CPU to the heatsink that sits on top, that is designed to then take away the heat. Normally, you'd expect the thermal paste to last a long time. Mostly, 6, 7, 8 years, potentially even the life of the computer. All depends on what it's been doing, how hard it's been run, and in what environment. If you've got a heat problem because of dust that's built up inside the PC or laptop, it could be that thermal paste is drying out, reducing its efficiency or ability to actually cool the CPU, again resulting in throttling and temperature issues and performance problems. So that's another thing to look at. It's something that you'll only want to consider doing if you've done it before and you're happy to take a laptop apart or a desktop apart. Not a big job in both cases for somebody who knows what they're doing. If you're not comfortable, again, your local IT shop should be able to help you with that sort of work. Another thing you can do is to run a software monitoring tool on your computer. I recommend NZXT's CAM software, which you can run in guest mode to avoid you having to create an account. This will allow you to see what's going on and take action accordingly. Step 2, back up your data. Before undertaking any work on your computer, I would always recommend ensuring that you have a current backup of your data. I've never had a problem completing a process like this, but Windows does have a habit of tripping us up sometimes, so it's always good to be prepared. Backing up basically means having more than one copy of your data stored somewhere else, either on an external drive, like a flash drive, or backed up to the cloud. For backing up to your own external drive, you can use Windows 10 Backup as follows. So first, we'll start, Settings, Update and Security, Files Backup, and then we're going to add a drive. In my case, it'll be my flash drive that I plugged in, which is drive letter E. Your drive letter could be different. If you go to File Explorer, you can check. So click on My PC, and then you'll see all the drives, your Windows, C drive with all your Windows stuff on, and then your flash drive here, which in my case is E. So close, go back to add a drive, choose the drive that we want to use, and tick the box to turn it on, click More Options. Windows will now list all the folders that are going to be included by default. If you want to exclude a folder, you can just click on that and take it out of the list. And if you want to add a folder, just click the button here, plus, and add another one. By default, the backups are kept forever, but you can choose a lower time if you want to free up space. And backups are normally done every hour by default. Again, you can make it more frequent or, infrequent. And then click Backup Now. If you don't have a suitable drive available and just want to get backed up as quickly as possible, I can recommend a reliable cloud-based solution called Backblaze. This is something I've used a lot in the past for my own clients, so I know it fairly well. It's super easy to use, very fast to get going. Literally from the point of signing up to the start of your first backup can take just a few minutes. For simplicity, peace of mind, and I think a relatively competitive price of around $9, I think, a month per PC, I think it's a solid choice. If you'd like to know more, I provided a link down below. Bear in mind, though, that if you've got a lot of data, you'll need a fast broadband connection to speed up that initial data backup. So it's the first backup that always takes the longest. Subsequent backups are much, much quicker because they back up just changes to your data, not the initial, full amount of data. So something to bear in mind. It'll be slow at first, but then the subsequent backups will be much, much quicker. Here's a quick overview of getting started with Backblaze. So just head onto the web, get rid of that, type in Backblaze. Try and avoid the sponsored results that come up, as they can sometimes be dodgy. So click on Backblaze, try for free, and get rid of that. And it's the computer backup we'll want, try for free. And type in some details to create an account, email address and a password, and just click open, install now. Doesn't take very long. Literally once it's finished, click OK, it literally starts backing up almost straight away, and then I close that and for that. Okay, and off you go. The initial backup process. So super fast, super easy. Not that expensive compared to other programs out there. I think it's reasonable. But it's a very fast, quick, cloud-based solution that can run in the background, doing its thing without you having to do anything at all. So really, really good. You can track in the taskbar down at the bottom by clicking the icon if you want to find out what's going on with your backups. So there you go. There are other backup options out there, but I find a lot of them are more fiddly and complicated to set up and use. So simplicity is good in my mind. The cheapest backup medium would be via a decent sized flash drive using the built-in backup within Windows 10, or manually backing up your files to a flash drive within Windows 11. So that's it. Step 3, create a restore point. I would always first recommend using the excellent Windows Restore app to create a restore point before starting. This facility has helped me so much in the past. Really, really useful tool. This restore point will allow you to go back in time and undo any of the settings changes that we're going to be making. Note that this restore point only restores system settings. It does not restore your data. It also won't affect clearing your cache or junk files or any of the clutter we're going to be removing, although you wouldn't want to be putting those back anyway. So to create a restore point, open the search box, type restore, and click on the Create a Restore Point app as follows. So I'm just going down to search, restore, click on the app to open, click create, give it a name whatever you like. We'll go for cleanup, date and time are added automatically afterwards, click close, and OK to finish. Step 4, Windows updates. Make sure Windows is up to date on your machine. These updates are there to fix issues with Windows, like software bugs and security problems, provide driver updates, and generally keep everything running as smoothly and efficiently as possible. Running an outdated version of Windows and drivers potentially can affect the performance of your PC, so this is definitely the first thing I would do. To do this, very easy, just go to Start, Settings, Update and Security for Windows 10, or Windows Update for Windows 11. Click Check for Updates, and just let the process finish. And then when it's done, you can just click it, close out of it. Step 5, Task Manager. Check running processes. Task Manager is a great tool for finding out where your computer's resources are being used up and help us pinpoint problems and also give us a baseline to start from. Press Ctrl, Shift and the Escape keys together to access Task Manager. On the first tab, Processes, make a note of what resources your computer is using, i.e. CPU, memory, disk. You can check later to see improvements. If your computer is running slow, usually one of these will be running high. To get an idea of where your resource is going, say the CPU usage is very high, constantly over 75% for example, click on the heading for that column and the contents will be reordered with the highest at the top. You can then see which process and the application responsible is taking up the most CPU usage and investigate from there. And you can do the same thing for disk and memory, for example, which are other key processes to look at. Okay, step 6, Task Manager. Optimize startup apps. Open up Task Manager again by pressing the Ctrl, Shift and Escape keys. Click on the Startup tab, Windows 10 or the Startup Apps icon in Windows 11, usually the fourth icon from the top left, looks a bit like a speedometer. This is in Windows 11. During installation, programs often add themselves to the list of startup apps, ensuring that their program starts when the machine starts. Over time, this can mean a lot of programs firing up with Windows, slowing everything down, because each of them will use a little bit of resource, a little bit of memory, a little bit of CPU usage. So we definitely need to clear some of those out. To fix this, look through the list and right-click any that you think should be enabled, and then click Disable. Examples would be like Edge, Spotify, or Microsoft To Do, for example. So these can always be re-enabled if necessary, if you suddenly decide that you do actually need one of these starting up with Windows. A few startup apps that you wouldn't want to disable would include your antivirus and backup programs, like OneDrive if you're using it. You can also start any application manually, of course, so if you stop something from starting with Windows, but then you decide you need it, just go into your applications list and just fire up the one that you want. Step 7, adjust power options. Most computers will have the power option set to balanced by default, but for best performance, you can definitely change this. Open the search box, then open either power and sleep settings for Windows 10 or power, sleep and battery settings for Windows 11. For Windows 10, click on Additional Power Settings at the top right, and under Preferred Plans, tick the High Performance option if you use a laptop. If you have a desktop PC, I would always recommend the Best Performance option. We want every last bit of performance available. I know I do anyway. Step 8, Review installed apps. New and branded computers usually come with many apps that are simply not needed, many of which will be starting automatically when you turn the PC on. and unnecessarily consuming resource. I recommend removing as many of these as possible, plus any that you no longer need. To do this, go to Start, Settings, then Apps. And when you are there, scroll through the list and select any that you don't need. Some of the Microsoft apps you won't be able to remove, like Edge, for example. Check through the list of installed apps for any that you are certain that you don't need to be there. Some apps may be required by other installed programs, so you do need to be careful not to remove something that you're going to need. Look for programs that you'll have installed yourself and no longer use. So here's the list of some of the more commonly installed apps that Microsoft dumps on our systems that you can safely remove if you don't need them. And I'm disabling and removing some of those now on my own machine. So very, very simple. Just find one, click on it, click on install, and then it's gone, as you can see here. Might take a few moments to get through them all, but your machine will thank you for it. And just scrolling through carefully, making sure I haven't missed anything. I'm a big fan of keeping a Windows computer as lean and as mean as possible, only leaving those apps that I'm definitely going to need and or are needed by the system. So, getting through them. Going to the end. Surprising what a difference having all these on your machine can make. Effectively, a lot of it is just bloatware, unnecessary junk. So there may be more apps listed on your particular system, of course, due to various brands like HP and Acer and so on, listed or adding their own particular apps. So, step 9, drive space check. Click on File Explorer and this PC. How much space do you have left on your drives? The color of each drive should be blue. If a drive is red, you need to take action by clearing space or upgrading to a larger drive, as you're going to definitely have performance problems. When the drive runs out of space, it's going to slow down. This area alone could be the reason for your slow computer performance. And to see what's taking up your drive space, download Run WizTree. A download link is in the description. Once installed, click on your C drive and click Scan. This will show where all of this space has gone. This program also has a cool visual indication as well to highlight what's taking up the most space. Can be handy to just visualize everything, rather than just seeing a bunch of random numbers. Be careful before you delete anything, as a lot of the space will be taken up by the system, as you can see from the visual. It's your user area that you really need to be focusing on. Step 10, clean up junk files and cache. Windows creates all sorts of temporary files during operation, which can over time build up, taking up valuable space. Fortunately, we can clear those down, release space, especially if you're short on your particular machine. So the first step involves opening up a search box and type run. So down the bottom here, run, and then type percentage temp percentage, and then select all, and then Shift Delete on your keyboard. Yes. If you see that coming up, then it means files or folders are in use at the moment. So just tick the box and click Skip. Close that. Next step, we're going to go back to the search box and type run again. Oops, run again. And then this time we're just going to type 10. Again, select all, Shift Delete, yes. And then let's have a look. Now we're going to go back to the search box and type disk. And in here, click on Clean System Files. Tick all the boxes, which they are ticked. There's not much in here because I think I've already done this earlier, but there might be a lot on yours. So click OK, delete files. Then it's going to clean up. While that's doing that, we're going to go onto File Explorer, go to Downloads, and if you've got stuff in there, I did have stuff, I've obviously cleared it, which is just daft. Just select all, and then again, Shift plus Delete to get rid. Once we've done all these, what we can do, if you go to start search again, type in storage, click on Open Storage Sense. Make sure this is enabled. It's already on mine for this particular machine, and this will automatically get rid of and clean up temporary files over a period of time, any other junk. It's quite a handy thing to maintain space on your computer. So click that when it's done. So the last thing we need to do is to make sure your recycle bin is empty. Mine already is. Just right click and click Empty Recycle Bin. If you don't have the recycle bin icon on your desktop, you can just type in Recycle Bin, click Open, and then click Empty Recycle Bin on the top left there. At this stage, I would suggest restarting your computer, not shutting down, allowing you to see the benefits of all the changes made so far. Clicking shut down, depending on your computer, may end up not giving you the benefits of all the changes that you've made. Step 11. Adjust Windows privacy settings. Microsoft intrudes way too far into our privacy these days, so I thoroughly recommend disabling as many privacy-related settings in Windows as possible. Leaving these on not only is a risk to your privacy, but also means a constant stream of activity and a drain on resources on your PC as data is sent all over the place in the background to Microsoft via the various processes built into Windows. Tackling this means turning off many settings buried all over the place in Windows, which is a real hassle and time-consuming as well. So, thankfully though, there is an excellent and widely used and reviewed free program called O&O Shutup 10++. Unusual name, but kind of relevant really, which can do the job in a fraction of the time compared to manual tweaking. The end result is greater privacy and less impact on your system's resources, keeping it running faster. To get O&O Shutup 10++, open your browser, click Accept to the Google pop-up, type Shutup 10 into the address bar and press Enter on your keyboard. Click on the O&O site link, click Download, click Open File, click Accept to allow changes to your system. Click the Local Machine tab, and then Actions. Apply only recommended settings. Click Yes to create a restore point. If you double click on an item, you can find more details about it, should you need. So, scroll down to Microsoft Edge Legacy version and enable the last two items. Scroll down to Taskbar and enable the last two items there as well. Select the Current User tab now. So again, if you're not sure about a particular item, just double click it for more information. I don't like ads anywhere, so I'm going to disable ads in Windows Explorer and OneDrive. Under Taskbar, I don't use the People app, the Meet Now app, or the News and Interests bit that pops up from the Taskbar. That bit drives me around the twist, to be honest. Now, click OK and close the program by hitting the X in the top right corner. Next step is to restart Windows and have the changes come into effect. The link to this program can be found down in the description below. Step 12. Turn off background apps. So what we want to do is go to Start, and then Settings, Privacy, Background Apps, and then we'll start turning off a few things. 3D Viewer Calculator, Cortana, Feedback Hub, Films and TV Game Bar. There are many. Media Player, don't use that. Office, no. Photos doesn't need to be on. Store, don't need that most of the time. OneNote, never use that. Paint 3D, never use that. Phone Link, no. Solitaire, it's Snips and Sketch occasionally, but no, I don't really need it. Nor the games. Nor Spotify, I'll use a different thing for that. Tips, no. Voice Recorder, no. Xbox, they don't use Xbox. So look at what you've got and consider what you need to turn off. Step 13. Adjust Windows visual effects. This is potentially an optional step, If you found after restarting earlier that the speed of your PC or laptop has improved enough, you may not need to adjust the visual effects. Windows loves to make itself look as pretty as possible with a bunch of fancy visual effects that also slow your PC down. Turning these off can make a huge difference. To do this, right-click the Start icon in the bottom left corner, or if you're on Windows 11, in the middle, to the left of the middle. Select System, and then open Advanced System Settings. Uncheck everything apart from Show thumbnails instead of icons, which I like to leave on, and Smooth Edges of Screen Fonts. When these are unselected, click Apply. If you really want to go hardcore, instead of just disabling them both, you can just click on Adjust for Best Performance, and click Apply, which turns everything off. Step 14, Adjust Windows Services. Services running on Windows can have a noticeable impact on performance. Add this to the steps that we've already gone through, and that effect is going to be even greater. However, what you can disable will depend to some extent on your circumstances. For example, is your computer part of a network of computers? Do you have a desktop PC or laptop? Do you use a printer or a Bluetooth device? Many of the services you'll see listed are needed for a wide range of applications. Those services that are set automatically run when Windows starts up, and these are likely to have the biggest impact on performance, but not all can be turned off without causing problems. There are, however, a few safe services that we can disable or set to manual. Disabled services can, of course, easily be turned back on again if needed. I've provided a free downloadable PDF list of all of these services in the description below so that you can refer back to them if needed. When turning services off, first check very carefully to make sure that they're not going to affect something that you're going to need, like a printer or a mouse or keyboard, for example. Depending on your version of Windows and the brand of computer that you've got, some of these services mentioned may not apply for you. You will also have other services not on this list that came with your computer and other applications that have been installed either by the supplier or by yourself. So to get to Windows Services, just go to Search, type in Services, click Open. We'll start going through the list. Pause the video if you need to, if I'm going too fast. So the first one I'm going to be looking at is All Join Router Service. That's on manual, which is what I would suggest. AVCTP service. That one, we can disable that one. So just right click it, click Properties, and then click Disabled in this case. Okay. And then we're going to look for BitLocker Drive Encryption Service. I would leave this one as it is on manual. Let's have a look. Bluetooth Support Service. Bluetooth Support Service is there. That's on manual, which is fine. If you don't need it, if you're not got any Bluetooth devices like a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard, then you can disable it. You can always turn it back on again if you have problems. In this case, I'm going to leave it as it is because I do need Bluetooth. Let's have a look. Certificate propagation. And let's have a look. I'm going to disable that because I don't need any smart cards or smart card readers. So I'm going to disable it. Same one. Okay. Let's have a look. Computer browser. That's not on every single machine, and it is indeed not on this one either. So we can ignore that. Computer browser. So computer user experiences telemetry. That was definitely going off. I will find it and turn it off. I'm going to stop it as well, so we can get the benefit of an instant fix, if you like. Disabled. Okay. Diagnostic Policy Service. Diagnostic Policy Service. It's that one there. I'm going to definitely turn that one off, as I am not connected to a network. It's not. Properties. Disabled. Okay. And then Diagnostic Tracking Service. Diagnostic Tracking Service. That's not on this machine. Distributed Link Tracking Client. That one there. We can stop that one, as I'm not connected to a network. Properties. Oops. Disabled. There we go. and now stop behaving. Downloaded Maps Manager, don't use that, so that one can be off as well. Disabled. Fax, who on earth uses fax these days? That one's definitely being turned off, disabled. File history service, if you use OneDrive or Windows Backup, keep it on. If you don't, which I don't, I'm going to disable it. Infrared monitor service, don't have that on this particular machine, so can't do that one. IP helper, set to manual. Don't use IP version 6 on this particular machine, so I'm going to disable that one. Just be careful if you are using IP Internet Protocol version 6. Google it if you're not too sure what that means. I'm possibly help in the comments if somebody has a question about it. So let's have a look. Net logon, way down here, net logon, disabled because we're not in a domain controller environment, which is for larger organizations, bigger companies who tend to use domain environments to manage their computers. Parental control, no, my children are of age now, so that can be disabled, don't need that. They never go off this machine anyway. They don't get anywhere near my work computers. Payments and NFC/SE manager. Not going to be doing any payments of any kind on this machine, so that's going off. Don't need that. Phone service. Again, that one can come off. I don't use any sort of phone services on this machine, like telephony or voice over IP or VoIP. Not on this computer. Let's have a look. So, print spooler. You'll need this if you've got a printer. I don't on this machine, so that could come off for me. For you, you may need it, so be careful. Program compatibility assistance service. Let's have a look. Compatibility assistance service. I'm going to put that onto manual. Stop. Okay. Let's have a look. Remote registry. That one's off. Nobody's going to be able to remote into my machine anyway, unless I'm connected remotely to somebody via a help service of some sort. So that's going off. Retail demo service. Unless your computer's in a shop, which is highly unlikely, then that's going to go off as well. Don't need that. Secondary logon. Set that to manual, that's fine. Smart card, these can all be disabled as they're not applicable to me, only for larger organizations. So smart card, these ones can go off, disabled. And it is disabled. And last one, disabled. Scroll up. I'm getting through the list on this already. Let's have a look. So TCP/IP NetBIOS helper, only applicable if you're on a workgroup network. So that one can come off again. I'm going to stop that. Turn it off. So if you're in a network, you need it. Touch keyboard and handwriting panel service. If you don't have any touch-enabled devices connected, like a touch screen or something like that, then you're not going to need that one either. I don't need it, so that's going to be disabled as well. Windows biometric service. I've got no facial scanning or fingerprint readers on this computer, so that one is going to go off. Stop that. Lord. So let's have a look. What else have we got? Windows camera frame server. No cameras are connected to this machine, so I'm going to turn that one off as well. Disabled. Windows error reporting service. So on this computer, I don't need that, so I'm going to turn it off. disabled. Windows image acquisition, there's no scanner or camera on this particular machine, so that one can go off as well, disabled. Windows Insider Service, most people aren't a member of this. I am, but I'm not needing it. I don't need it on this machine, so I'm going to disable that one as well. Windows Mobile Hotspot Service, I'm not using my computer as a hotspot, so that one can be turned off as well. It's disabled. Here we go. Let's have a look. So Windows Search, that can come off. You know, in the interest of extra speed, that's going to come off. I'm going to disable it on this particular computer. Might need it on one of my other machines, but not on this one. So let's have a look. So the last ones, I would say the Xbox ones. I don't use an Xbox, certainly not on this machine, so they can all be disabled. And then that's the end of the list. That is it. There we go. Last one. So if you're unsure about a particular service and need a bit more information, you can, of course, Google it. There's plenty of information out there. I'll try and answer any questions I can in the comments, but otherwise, if you need to find out more, good old Google is usually the way. Step 15, run a malware scan. Another reason for slow performance could be a malware infection running in the background consuming resources. I've left this one till last to allow my favorite antivirus, anti-malware program, Malwarebytes, to run as quickly as possible. Would have been impossible to run it at the beginning if your machine is running really, really slow. So get all the update, all the tweaks out the way, and then we've got more performance for Malwarebytes to do its thing. I've been personally using this great program for over a decade now, plus installing it for many of my clients. It's a really, really useful tool. Its lifetime installation doesn't take up too much space or resource and doesn't hassle you constantly to buy this and that. So I like it for that reason as well. You can download it from here as a free trial so that you can run a scan and check your machine over. So head on to your browser and type in Malwarebytes. You can do it in the address bar or in the search box. Malwarebytes free, sorry, I should say that. Ignore adverts and sponsored listings and just go for the natural listing, which is the one I've just highlighted. Click on the link. Click free antivirus download. And then the download should start very quickly. Open file. And then click yes to allow changes to your system. Click install. Go for personal. It's the one we're looking at, unless you're a business, of course. Click next. Skip the browser guard for now. We just want the scan. And then let's install it. And then once it's installed, open Malwarebytes. Click Get Started. Maybe later to the subscription, and then no need for an email address, it's optional. Get Started, click Scan, and just let it do its thing. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long, and hopefully if there is anything on your machine, it should pick it up. Click Next, and yeah, you can just either click Save or just click the X to get rid of the program or to close that box. And then click Done. If it found anything, they'll prompt you to quarantine any nasties and reboot your machine to make sure that they're gone on the restart. So pretty straightforward. And that's it for now. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more of these in the coming weeks and months. So thanks again. See you in the next one.